Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If you need to develop into a better leader, this podcast is for you. If you want to achieve a greater level of success, this podcast is for you. His mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell, said it best: everything rises and falls on leadership. We hope to inspire you today and provide you with an insight that has the potential to positively impact the trajectory of your life. Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast. I'm your host, Coach BZ, and today we have a truly special guest joining us. From Puerto Rico to Harvard University to transforming organizations across more than 30 countries, Yadira, or as many know her, Yadi Caro, is a powerhouse of leadership, agility, and purpose. She's the award-winning host of the Hardcore Soft Skills podcast, where she's interviewed leaders and experts from around the world to uncover the human side of success. Yadi is also an organizational strategist and a global voice for developing the soft skills that really move teams forward. Today, Yadi will be sharing her extraordinary journey, her hard-won insights, and some practical strategies you can apply right away, including how to lead with empathy and clarity, how to grow soft skills in hierarchical environments, how to thrive authentically in male-dominated spaces, and how to build cultures of transparency, agility, and courage. So wherever you're tuning in from, Navy junior officers aspiring to command or Silicon Valley engineers stepping into leadership, get ready to take notes. You're about to learn from one of the most dynamic voices in leadership today.
Yadi, welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Enrique. I'm super happy to be here in the show. I've been following your show for a while, and it was great to connect with you finally in person because I've been following your work and all the interviews that you do here. So I am, as you've heard, I'm Yadi, and I'm a Puerto Rican as well. I work right now been working as a agile team coach for various years I work a lot primarily as a consultant with various organizations in the military. What I do right now and as my passion project as well is have the podcast Hardcore Soft Skills and launching as well in terms of workshops and to offer to organizations on different soft skills. And my background is in communications, but also I just recently completed my master's degree in industrial organizational psychology as well. And I'm very passionate about understanding what makes teams work and what makes work happen effectively for leaders, for the particularly tech team. So I'm a learner, and I like to share what I learn via the podcast, via the courses that I have on LinkedIn and other platforms as well.
So this has been researched, and I'm just thinking of the work of Daniel Pink in the book. I believe the name is Drive. The intrinsic motivation is really effective on a team, because you will think that, hey, if I give people a particular salary, a competitive salary, that's going to be enough motivating factor for the team to do something. But it has been researched and studied that it is the intrinsic motivation, giving specifically talking about autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So if the employees feel that they have the autonomy to choose the job they are going to do, that's something that will keep them in a job longer or make them have greater job satisfaction.
dominated
Mhm.
industry, and advocating for herself as well, and making sure she's treated at the same level as everybody else. That's really beautiful to see. So if you had one day to live, what would you have liked your final contribution to be?
Oof, I think it goes back to parenting, that the contribution being that my kids are emotionally intelligent and that are capable of living in a world, without me, or without, like, they're just healthy, healthier emotionally and healthy physically. I think that will be my greatest contribution, because it's like, yeah,
Yes.
there's all the part of all the work, and all that stuff is out there. But when it thinks like it's your last day, and then you're like contribution, like great kids that are able to do great things in the world.
Wow, that is powerful. So when you wake up in the morning, what is one problem you would like to solve?
Oof. I think it goes back to the workplace. Like, if I can at least help a person and to have a more pleasant experience at work, either because they are able to solve a problem or communicate effectively, and those are
Mhm.
the hidden fights that each individual has, that it just impacts their personal life so much. That's what I think of that. What of a how can I solve that problem today for a person? And giving
Mhm.
advice of sharing through the podcast or a post, or if they call me for some questions, that at least I can give them some, hey, here, take this advice, and
Yes.
see how that works. So, because
Wow.
it impacts their personal life so much. Yeah.
That is so powerful. I'm so glad you're here. We are almost at the end. I think we have a couple of minutes left here. So toward the end, what everyone, this is Coach Busy. That was a teaser from the full podcast I had with Yadi Caro. That was season 4, episode 66. And I encourage everyone to listen to the entire podcast. That was just a teaser. Uh, let's get started with our moment of gratitude. So, this is where we think about something we are grateful for. Uh, I think it's so very, very important that we do this. So, if you would close your eyes, if you can, put yourself in your happy place, take a deep breath if you need to, and think about one thing you are grateful for today. What are you grateful for? Today, I am grateful that I am still here. I am still here. I may not be where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. I'm still here. As long as I'm alive, as long as there is breath, there is hope for me. All right, that's what I'm grateful for. Please let us know what you are grateful for, and type it in the comment, and let's share with the community. Thank you so much for that. All right, we are gonna go back uh, to Yadi's story. So this podcast is done by my AI agent. It's a 10-minute recap of our 1 hour leadership conversation, and really the idea is to allow you to get the essence of the conversation I had with Yadi uh, Caro. So this is really amazing, right? What we can do with technology today. And I also would like to acknowledge Sanil is watching right now, founder of home2read.com. And Sanil, if you can let us know where you are watching us from, what city, state, country, and also what thing you are grateful for. And if you do have a question, type it in the comment, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes or so. All right, let's now go to the 10-minute AI recap.
Welcome to our conversation on leadership lessons from a remarkable journey from Puerto Rico to Harvard. It's a journey steeped in authenticity and resilience.
Absolutely, it's truly inspiring. What's one of the key themes we should dive into first?
Well, one of the central points is that soft skills, and I mean the power skills like empathy, clarity, and effective communication, are
Definitely.
mission critical. They are not optional soft add ons, but, the real engine of success in both military and corporate settings.
Right, and that's interesting because many people assume that technical skills are enough. But as we see, even the best technical operator in the Navy or a brilliant engineer in Silicon Valley can stall if these leadership skills are missing.
Exactly. It's like, Imagine having all the best ingredients for a recipe, but missing the secret spice, that special touch of empathy and communication that binds everything together.
Yeah, I get that. So, speaking of empathy, what did you think about Yadira Caro's emphasis on leading with empathy and clarity?
Oh, it's a game changer. She stresses that empathy is not about being soft, but about truly understanding your team and ensuring they know exactly where they're headed.
Right, that pause and repeat technique really helps. It's funny how a simple approach like pausing to echo what you've heard can eliminate misunderstandings and wasted time. It's powerful in high stakes environments, be it in the military or tech teams.
Exactly. And it's a technique that's immediately actionable. In her coaching prompt, she even suggests asking, "How are you doing, really?" right at the start of a meeting, then laying out clear expectations for the week.
That sets a clear tone. And that leads us to another point, the importance of authenticity, especially for those in male dominated fields. Yadira's journey as a Puerto Rican woman in tech and defense speaks volumes about showing up as yourself.
Absolutely. She challenges the notion that you have to shrink your true self to fit in. Instead, her stance is authenticity is your power.
Right, that's so crucial. I do wonder though, sometimes people might argue that blending in helps with smoother team dynamics. How do you think authenticity balances with that?
That's a fair point, but I respectfully challenge that view. While blending in might seem easier, real influence comes when you bring your whole self to the table. Not conforming at the expense of your values fosters genuine trust and innovation.
I agree with that. It really shifts the narrative from conformity to courageous leadership, doesn't it?
Exactly. And moving forward, she touches on the power of transparency, agility, and courage in navigating hierarchical structures.
Yeah, that bit about breaking down the mental barriers of hierarchy is quite insightful. Right, she mentions how our own mental constructs create barriers, even when formal hierarchies exist. It takes real courage to cross those boundaries and collaborate across ranks and silos.
That's so true. And it's not just about personal growth, it's about the growth of the whole team. When leaders create more leaders, the mission thrives.
Yep, truly a multiplier effect. Speaking of which, what did you think about the notion that true leaders create leaders?
I love that idea. Yadira emphasizes that leadership isn't about being indispensable, but about empowering others so they continue to excel even in your absence. It's like planting seeds for future growth.
So inspiring. It makes you reflect on your own leadership style, whether you're aiming to be the hero or nurturing more heroes around you.
Exactly. And then there's the practical blend of discipline and embracing failure as teachers. In her view, discipline gives you freedom, and failure shows you where to grow.
Yeah, it's that classic Jocko Willing philosophy, right? Yes, discipline is freedom, or so they say, but it's also that the more you fail, the more you learn and eventually succeed.
Absolutely. Discipline keeps you on track, while failure expands your horizons. When you combine both, you forge a truly resilient leader.
Indeed, that's a powerful takeaway. And then there's a particularly personal piece of advice she shares with her younger self. Can you talk about that?
Sure, she advises her 17-year-old self to stop being so concerned about what others think and not be afraid to ask more questions, because curiosity is what gives you the tools to succeed.
Yeah, that honesty is refreshing. It's akin to saying that curiosity is the fuel for innovation and personal growth. Not waiting for perfection, but daring to ask the challenging questions.
Exactly, and that kind of mindset can be a game changer in any setting, whether it's a boardroom or a command briefing.
Definitely. Now, what are your thoughts on how these lessons can be applied immediately in our daily lives?
Well, there are a few actionable coaching prompts sprinkled throughout her insights. For example, identifying one power skill you want to grow, like listening or clear communication, and making that a daily practice.
Right, and that's something even a busy leader can start today. Not only that, but in meetings, you could start by asking someone how they're really doing, then clearly articulating what success looks like for the week.
Exactly. And for those in traditional hierarchical environments, it's about taking that first brave step to reach out, even across rank or departmental boundaries.
Yeah, that's a big deal. It's interesting how these lessons apply both to military leaders and Silicon Valley tech managers. It really shows the universality of these leadership principles.
Absolutely. And speaking of universality, her journey from Aguada, Puerto Rico to Harvard encapsulates resilience, adaptability, and a deep commitment to fostering human centered skills.
A true representation of servant leadership. And then there's the inspirational figure that influenced her, the naval captain David Marquet, who transformed a failing submarine crew. That story really underscores how creating leaders can turn the tide in any challenging situation.
Totally. It's like he showed that leadership is less about commanding and more about enabling, empowering your team so they thrive even when you're not around.
Right, that's an admirable approach. One curious point I want to challenge, though. Do you think there's a risk of overemphasizing soft skills, possibly at the expense of necessary technical proficiency?
That's a valid concern. However, what Yadira emphasizes isn't ignoring technical skills, it's about complementing them. Technical skills might open the door, but soft skills define your long term impact.
That balance is key. Makes sense. It's like the perfect recipe needs both the right ingredients and the right seasoning.
Exactly, the technical side lays the foundation, but it's the human side that builds the structure that lasts. And that's truly the legacy of effective leadership.
Yep, couldn't agree more. So, as we wrap up, what one leadership quality do you think will resonate most with our listeners today?
For me, it's this deeply human centric approach, leading with empathy, clarity, authenticity, and the courage to create more leaders. It encourages us to be better every single day.
Truly inspiring. That's a solid takeaway, and I hope everyone feels empowered to, ask that bold question and take that courageous step in their own journey.
Absolutely. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to lead with your whole heart, whether you're in a boardroom or at a team huddle.
Here's to embracing our imperfections, learning from them, and growing together.
And that, folks, is the incredible power of transforming challenges into leadership opportunities.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay courageous, and keep leading authentically.
Until next time, remember that true leadership is not about perfection, but about connection, discipline, and the willingness to fail and grow.
Right on. Catch you next time for another deep dive into what makes leadership truly transformative.
Yeah, so in journalism, I wasn't even thinking about joining, working with a military organization. I'm not military. I don't come from a military family. So I worked for a couple of years in journalism, and then a friend of mine, Marisa, she actually told me about this opportunity to work in a military organization doing similar things like being an editor for a magazine that will go globally. So that project started, and I joined, started working with various military organizations there. Was leading the creation of a magazine for the Southern Command area, and from there, in the world of consulting, the great thing about that is that there are other opportunities that come along. So after I did that for a few years, then other opportunity within the same company came up to work more closely in communications, but with IT. And I was thinking, when my manager at the time said, "Yeah, you're going to be working in IT," I'm like, "I'm not technical. What are you talking about?"
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this recap. Again, I would like everybody to follow Yadi. So that's Yadi Caro on LinkedIn. And also take her LinkedIn course. She has a great course on persuasion at work, 5 tips to communicate with influence. And then also subscribe to her award-winning podcast, Hardcore Soft Skills with Yadi Caro. It's hardcoresoftskillspodcast.com. Uh, great leader. She had a lot of great insight. And please also type in the comment what are your free takeaway from this episode, and also, most importantly, I think, which insight you are going to put into practice this week. Because when it comes to leadership, it's not just mental knowledge, right? It's not just understanding a principle, but you really truly understand something when you actually do it. And then share your experiences with us. Really appreciate that. So I'm going to play one more teaser from our 1 hour leadership conversation. But again, the idea is to really encourage you to go ahead and watch the entire episode. So that's going to be Leadership and Success Podcast, Season 4, Episode 66. So here is one more teaser. And right after this, I'm going to have another AI recap, but this time in Espanol, since Yadi is originally from Puerto Rico and Spanish is her native language. So we are going to produce another show in Spanish this time. It's going to be right after this, back to back. So here's the last teaser before we end up the English portion of the AI recap. Thanks again for being here with me. Your personal story, right, from Aguada to Harvard, right? What personal habit or mindset shift made that possible, you think?
Well, that was interesting because I'm from, as you say, Aguada is the name of my hometown, a little hometown in Puerto Rico on the west side. So if you go, make sure you visit. I went to school in Puerto Rico, University of Puerto Rico, very proud graduate from there. And I've always wanted to continue studying. I went to Florida International University, did a master's there, and also did graduate in University of South Florida and others. And while I was in Germany, I've always had this dream of wanting to study psychology. And then I started exploring schools. And then I saw, I'm like, what if I go into like an Ivy League school? Let's see. So I have heard from another former colleague about this program with Harvard, and to be able to do online classes to start with certificate, and then you could enter into the master's program. So I continued that journey to see where did it lead me, and I was able to finish. And the mindset, as you ask, is the aspect of understanding that following the process. And I've always been very disciplined, or trying to be disciplined in the sense, because at the time I had full-time work.
Thank you for listening to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our channels and come back for more wisdom nuggets on how you may develop into a better leader and achieve greater levels of success. Leadership is the most critical skill. The world will always need leaders to lead others, deploy the next disruptive technology, or execute a business strategy. You may as well decide on counting yourself among the 21st century leaders. See you right here next time on the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.